Big Chris, thanks for joining me. As we sit here, you're just over a year into life at the football club. You've just been announced as club captain, which is obviously a big moment. First of all, for you, what makes a good leader?
I think as a leader, you have to lead by example, do things right every single day. You can't just show up when it fits you. You got to do it every single day, and I think everyone can lead when things are going well. So I think the real leadership comes out when things aren't going so well, and that's when people need to look up to you, and you need to make sure you're there when your teammates need you.
Mm-hmm. I think I've gotten to know you fairly well over the past 12 months. I would describe you as sort of hyper professional, that like intense winner, someone who comes in and takes his job seriously. Is that a fair assessment of who you are?
Yeah, I think so. Because ultimately, I'm trying to achieve big goals here. I know it can be intense sometimes, but that's just part of myself, part of my character. But I think we've got a good group here, so we all know what we're working for, and so I don't have to be grumpy and angry all the time. But when it comes out, it comes out. So. That's just part of myself.
I think the manager has sort of similar traits in that he expects high standards off everybody. You know, there's intensity about him when he comes into work. Do you think he sort of likes that in you? He sees those qualities, and that's what sort of appeals to him?
Maybe. Well, the year I've worked with him is obviously that's the kind of character traits he's gotten across to me. That he needs someone to lead the change room in a way that he wanted to be. The standards need to be very high, and that's not just sometimes, that's every single day. So that's just something I try to get across as much as possible.
That dressing room atmosphere last year, in the sort of time that I've been at the football club, is by far and away the best in terms of the camaraderie, the togetherness. Of course, winning helps that, and the season that we had on the pitch. Just looking at this year and the transition, when you bring in new players into the fold, do they quickly have to get up to speed with what that dressing room's all about? And you've got the core of the group that's come from last season into this, and they're the ones that set the tone inside that dressing room.
Yeah, I think it's important that you've mentioned the core, because that stayed the same from last year. I think I've said it before, but the foundations that we've laid last year, I think, are very strong. So whenever new people come in, I think it's important for them to respect our culture. Respect the foundations and respect the standards that we've got, because we all know we're bringing in top quality players, but it's very important that they're good people as well, and they all are. That's really important for us. That's why it was able for them to join, and for us as a group that we've gelled so quickly.
Mm-hmm. Because there has been, at least over the past year or so, a brutality to the way both you play as a defender. You know, you're not afraid to get close to people and enjoy that physical contact, but also as a team, there's a relentlessness about who you are. Lots are made about style. You know, everyone looked at us last year and possession-based football and the intensity of the press. For you, is it just win at all costs? You strike me as someone who's great. If we can play a particular brand, let's win first and foremost.
Of course, I think that's always the number one objective here, especially at this football club, is to win games now. I think that's the kind of mentality the ownership have brought to the club with appointing the manager that we've got and bringing in the players that we've got. I think it's all a process. We're working very hard from Monday to Friday to make sure we've given us the best chance to win on Saturday. But I think we've got a definite style of play that we want to follow, that we work very hard on every single day. But obviously, to get the win, that's the most important thing at the end of the day.
And when it kicks off on the pitch and there's a bit of a fracas and there's a bit of argy-bargy between ourselves and the opposition, if you're not first on the scene, you're a close second. Is that just instinctive, whether you're captain or not, whether you have the armband on or not, just to race in and be there to protect your teammates?
Yeah, I think whenever something does happen on the pitch, we try to stick together as much as possible. I think that kind of represents us as a team and us as a football club, that we stick together. That's just the nature of myself, to be in and around and protect my teammates. But I think whenever one of us is in trouble, I think there's a few to follow very quickly.
Mm. Not many players though stick up for their fan base, and that was sort of what happened against Ipswich on that opening day. obviously the equaliser goes in, which is a big sting at the end of the game. Then the ball gets booted into the Tilton, and you're the first one to sort of see it and acknowledge it. And is that what goes through your head? Is it just a split second, you've seen it happen, you're racing because you're not happy about what went on?
Yeah, I think the whole thing with us conceding very late to us, I think we can all agree, a very controversial penalty decision. So, yeah, I'm not sure if it was deliberate or not, but I just saw the ball getting kicked into our stand, and yeah, what happened after is obviously not ideal. We tried to avoid it at all costs, but I think it just happened. No one got hurt, so yeah, we can move on from that.
But I think these things make you a good fit for the club. You often find players who are good fits for particular football clubs. Birmingham City is that blue-collar, working-class, hard, gritty football club and fan base. Is that something that resonates with you? Do you sense that as a player since you've joined?
Yeah, I think I've gotten to know the club quite well and know what the club stands for, what kind of people it represents from all classes. So I see myself as a hard working player. Maybe I'm sure there's some better players technically in this team. There's some players that are nicer to watch on the eye, but I do think that I represent the club quite well in the values that I've got. So yeah, like I said, I just try to do the best that I can every single day here at the training ground, and then especially when it comes to game time.
And you are the big defensive presence on the pitch. You've got all that aggression. You love to, as we say, defend, but you can also play. And we see, I think early on last year, you stepping in, carrying the ball to sort of commit players, and then using it when teams were particularly low and in that sort of low block. Has that always been part of your game, or when did that emerge that you were comfortable to step in and play?
I did enjoy a very good footballing education at my previous clubs at Rapid Vienna and then especially at Southampton. So with the way academies are these days, you do spend a lot of time with the ball. But I think what was always important for my position is that the basics and the tackling and the heading, that always comes first. But obviously with the way we try to play, with what the gaffer wants us to do, it is very important to also be comfortable at the ball, especially if we are gonna be on the ball for quite a big period during games. I think it's important that, especially against slow blocks, we are comfortable to play out.
So how then does a 6'3" Austrian big tough centre half form a close partnership and friendship with a quiet, well-mannered South Korean lad?
Yeah, it's not a usual combination, but I think it's when two people that are striving for the same goal eventually, because I know how professional Paik is and know how much he wants to win as well, and I know how much I want to win. I think that kind of formed a bond straight away. We do get on quite well off the pitch as well, but I just respect him so much as a football player and as a person, because we've got similar interests and see football in a similar way, so that has helped to build our friendship a lot.
How good is he?
Yeah, very good. I think we can all see the quality that he's got. We can all see what kind of football and education he enjoyed at Barcelona, and he didn't score at the World Cup. That didn't just come out of nowhere. He's an integral player for us, on and off the pitch. He's really hard working. He's always on time. He's doing the basics right, and that's the most impressive for a player of his technical ability.
You talk about sort of the similarities in interests and very similar people. He moved away from home from an early age to sort of pursue his career. You've done the same as a teenager to leave Austria and join Southampton. Do you think there's that maturity in you both? You've had to sort of grow up quickly and benefit from those experiences.
Yeah, I think it's not nice when you have to leave home at that young age, to leave your family and friends behind, but it does help you grow up pretty quickly. You learn how to do things by yourself, and I think that does help you mature a lot. It does give you different life experience at a very young age, so I think that kind of shaped us both into the people that we are today.
You're a proud Austrian. I know you represented Austria right up until under 21s. Surely a senior call-up's round the corner now?
Yeah, I think it is a massive honour every time I've worn that shirt so far. I'm working really hard to finally get that senior cap. I'm not getting impatient or anything like that. I know it's all part of the process, but obviously that would be a massive honour to one day represent my home country, that I'm very, very proud of.
To touch upon home life, of course, you and your partner Lara, elite level name, I said before, Lara Klarer. Is she the boss at home, or do you take that leadership skills back to the house as well?
Yeah, I think whatever I say now, I'm going to get in trouble. But no, I think I'm a different person off the pitch. So I know I can be quite intense here at the workplace, but when I try to get home, I try to be a bit more relaxed, and I think she does help me with it.
She's obviously pregnant with your first child, which is incredible news. To have a little girl, is that going to bring out that softer side in you, do you think? Are you ready for parenthood?
Yeah, I think that's what some people have said to me. It's good for me to have a baby girl on the way. Maybe that does soften me up a little bit. But yeah, I'm really excited about it, and I'm sure I'll grow into that big challenge as well.
Very finally, just to bring it back to football, look into this season as a whole. The manager spoke about appreciating and acknowledging the step up back to the Championship, the level of opposition that we're going to face every week. But also, I think we saw against Newcastle last year, there's nothing to be scared of no matter who we take on. Is that very much the adopted mentality here? Of course, accept and respect the opposition, but be confident in what we can bring as well.
Yeah, I think we all know that this club has struggled a lot the last few times they were in this division, so we know how hard it is. We've seen so far how challenging every single game is, so we definitely, as a promoted team, have to stay humble and respect the game. But we also know as Birmingham City that we can't be afraid of anyone. We've got enough quality and enough mentality in this group to find a way to win in every single game we play in. So I think that mentality shift of knowing how good you can be, but we need to make sure that we do the basics every single time. I think that is really stood out for me.
Thank you ever so much for talking to us. Congratulations again on the armband, and all the best for the season.
Cheers, thank you, Dale.
Top man.